Assalamu alaikum everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about How to Speak by Patrick Winston. In this video of an hour, Patrick Winston breaks down of how a presentation needs to be given into multiple steps. We see from the start of a presentation, he has refrained us from opening with a joke. As refraining from opening with a joke's motive is to not create a small or a weak perception to the audience, rather creating a more credential and a substantial strong point of view of one's perception towards the audience. We need to focus on the premise as well, as focusing on the premise leads to rather good presentation, and it solidifies our idea. We need to offer a lot of promise to the idea in order for the audience to buy the idea. The cycling of the idea while creating a boundary around it needs to be done, as well as we need to bring the idea more and more as calling back, and a boundary around it to create a fence around it so that the audience tends to see the boundary around it and then buy the idea. A strong and intriguing question can be asked towards the audience as well, as we know that a strong question can lead the audience to wanting more. As a result, it creates a curiosity in themselves. There should be a time and a place as well. The place should be properly lit with ample amount of time. If there is not a good amount of light, the place will be dimly lit. As a result, the visual representation will not take place that properly. The time should be in between, not too early and before lunchtime, to gain maximum traction from the audience, as it is very important for the audience to not rush at all, and at the same time be after lunch, because the audience will feel lazy and not be able to grasp the ideas more. The emphasis on visual representation of him was very clear. He wanted to create an all-round visual representation on the audience to create maximum impact. The board and the prop should be used as an auxiliary medium to deepen the impact. Lasers are strongly prohibited. Slides should be effectively managed and used. In all of this format, he wanted the audience to have a visual representation of the idea by using board and props as an auxiliary medium to deepen the impact. Lasers are strongly prohibited as it removes the eye contact of the audience to the representator, and the slides should be effectively managed. As a result, there shouldn't be a lot of information in the slides, rather the information should come from the mouth, and the slide should be efficient and not more in towards more depth. And then we move on to the part of how to inform the audience. The vision along with the substantial proof towards a problem should be introduced as fast as possible. As we know that in the media, in the general context of life nowadays, people tends to not go into long subduing hours, rather they want the more shorter format of everything. As a result, we see more platforms such as promoting shorter time controls have been more successful. We need to establish the credential, also as the same time gain the trust of the audience, because it is very important to gain the trust of the audience in order to sell the idea. Next, we move on to the 5S methods, that is the symbols, the slogans, the surprise, the salient idea, and the story. In the 5S method, he says that all these 5S are comprised together to give a more impact and dynamic presentation for the audience. The presentation should have a particular symbol with a long but not very long slogan, an efficient slogan with a surprise at the back, and the salient idea to back it up, and the story to round it off together. Then we come to the finishing of a presentation. Finishing of the presentation should not end with the question, as we know that the question will lead to the audience leaving with a more mixed feelings, and that is not what we want the audience to leave the talk with. A timely joke can lighten the mood and audience leaves with a happy thought. A joke at the end is appreciated more, and it makes the audience happier in the sense that they have been entertained and they leave with the thought of a happy mentality, which leads to grasping more knowledge and a happy, satisfied feeling at the end. A thank you is an end with a weaker note, because most of the time we tend to say thank you a lot, which is not really a good note, rather, it's a weaker note. Ending with an emergent representation of knowledge is considered to be good. If we can end the whole representation with the perception that we have knowledge and we want to share with the audience and create a good and better supplementary for all of us, is a very good stronghold to a finishing of a presentation. Thank you. That's Zubair Ferdous. That's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.